Hi guys, welcome back to Tashida's Lit Lounge where literacy is lit. Today we are going to finish up Nancy Clancy's Secret Admirer. Written by Jane O'Connor, illustrations by Robin Price Glasser. So we left off at chapter 9 and we will continue with chapter 10, Sweet Success. Every time the phone rang, Nancy and Bree jumped up. At last, Bree's mom said, "Bree? Nancy? It's Grace on the phone." Bree got right down to business. "Did you find the note, Grace?" "Yes." "Well, does it say yes or no?" Nancy asked. It was hard sharing one phone. "First, you have to tell me what's going on." Nancy groaned. So did Bree. But they told Grace. "That's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard," Grace told them. Nancy was about to say, "There's no such word as stupidest." Instead, she shouted, "Just tell us what Annie said." She said no, she isn't coming. Bree and Nancy looked at each other. Nancy's lips trembled. Bree already had tears in her eyes. "Ha! I'm only kidding." Grace was laughing into the phone. "The box for yes is checked." "You'd better not be kidding this time," Bree said. "I'll bring it to school tomorrow. You can see for yourself. And here's what you have to do to pay me back." A minute later, they hung up. Nancy was thrilled. Picture. Andy and Annie were meeting tomorrow. It wasn't just a plan anymore. It was really happening. She didn't even mind having Grace sit at their table at lunch for 2 weeks. Well, she minded, but it was worth it. At home later, Nancy practiced playing guitar. Then she finished up the last of her appreciation hearts. They had to be handed in tomorrow. She did Nola's and Richard's and Isabel's. In a little while, there were checks by everyone's names on the class list. Everyone except Grace's. Nancy felt bad that it was so hard to find a reason to like Grace. "Nancy, the phone is for you." Nancy heard her mom calling. When she picked it up, she heard Grace's voice. Nancy? "Listen, you and Bree don't have to pay me back. The favor is for free." "What?" Nancy almost asked Grace why she was being nice. Instead, she said, "Merci, Grace. I truly appreciate it. And look, I guess you can still sit with us." Nancy got off the phone. Suddenly, she knew exactly what to write on Grace's heart. "I appreciate Grace because she did a favor for me." Then Nancy put extra glitter on Grace's heart. Just then, the bell on the top secret special delivery mailbox started ringing. That meant Bree was sending a message. The basket hung from a rope between their bedroom windows. Nancy reached for the note. It was not written in code. That had to mean Bree was in a super rush to get in touch. When she read it, Nancy understood. The note in the basket said, "Annie's babysitting. Come over." To the suite meant right away in French. You say it like this: tout de suite. Since all of Nancy's homework was done, her mom said okay. "Guess what? Annie has a secret admirer," Bree said the second Nancy walked in the door. Bree was hopping all around and acting excited. Wait till you hear. Nancy had never realized what a good actress Bree was. So Nancy tried to act really surprised too. "A secret admirer? Wow!" Nancy let her jaw drop open. Annie was helping Freddie build a Lego rocket ship. "Yes, I'm meeting him tomorrow at the the Candy Cafe. Do you have any idea who it is, Nancy? Asked Annie. Not really. He's tall, dark, and handsome and plays guitar. He left flowers for Annie. Roses! Bree really sounded as if this was news to her. This were news to her, excuse me. Ooh la la, that's so romantic. What did the love poem say? Annie looked up from the floor. Who said anything about a love poem? Whoopsie, bad slip. It's like a rule, Nancy stammered. Secret admirers always leave a love poem. Quickly, Bree switched the subject. Annie, how will you wear your hair tomorrow? Then, when Annie took Freddie up to bed, Bree glared and said, I can't believe it. You nearly blew the whole thing. I'm so sorry. It just slipped out. You think she suspects? No, but watch what you say. Bree glanced at the stairs. Shh, I hear Annie coming. Freddie was asleep. So Bree and Nancy had Annie all to themselves now. First, they took turns brushing Annie's long hair until it looked super shiny. Then, they tried out different shades of eyeshadow on Annie, and different lip glosses, and different hairstyles. They also gave her a super deluxe facial. I feel like I'm at a beauty spa, Annie said. Ooh la la, your skin, your complexion looks as smooth as velvet. Now, Nancy said after they wiped the gook off her face. I better not get a zit before twilight tomorrow, Annie said just as Bree's parents returned home. Wish me bonne chance. Annie said it like this. Bonne chance. That's French for good luck. That's the end of chapter 10. And now we are on the very last chapter, chapter 11. Teenagers in Love. On Friday, Mr. D bought in cupcakes. Everyone read their appreciation hearts. Nancy got 5 nices and 12 fancies. The one Grace made for Nancy said, I appreciate Nancy because she is not boring. Nancy read it a couple of times. Was this a compliment? Did it mean Grace thought she was interesting? The most special ones came from Mr. Dudney and, of course, Bree. I appreciate Nancy's tremendous imagination and independent spirit. She is unique, which I'm sure she knows means one of a kind, Mr. D. After the last bell rang, Clara invited Yoko, Nancy, and Bree to her house, but Nancy explained why they had to decline. At twilight, Annie and Andy are meeting at the Candy Cafe. We're going to spy on them and watch them fall in love, Bree added. Oh, please, can we come too? Clara begged. Nancy was ready to say yes, but Bree was firm. Sorry, it'd be too risky with 4 people. Nancy and I have to stay undercover. Bree had worked out a minute-by-minute schedule. 4:40, arrive at Candy Cafe. 4:41, go next door to Belle's Fashion Boutique. 4:42, sneak into alleyway between Belle's and Candy Cafe, spy through window. 4:43, wait for Annie to arrive. 4:45 to 5 o'clock, watch Annie and Andy fall in love. At 4:40, right on time, Nancy's mother pulled into the parking lot behind the Candy Cafe. Can Bree and I go over to Belle's? Nancy's mom looked ready to say no. Please, oh please, Mom, Nancy said. It's right next door. It's not even twilight yet. Nancy's mom relented. At Belle's, Bree and Nancy didn't even stop to check out the jewelry counter. They went straight to the back entrance and ducked into the alley between the 2 stores. The Candy Cafe window was higher than they'd expected. They had to stand on their tippy toes from the party room. Nancy could hear lots of little kids singing happy birthday to guitar music. Andy's gig is over now, Nancy whispered excitedly. Sure enough, a minute later, Andy sat down at a table in the main room. A waitress took his order. Perfect! A table for two, Bree squealed softly. Now only one thing was missing. Annie! At 4:45 on the dot, she arrived. Annie was wearing everything they told her to, and she looked stunning, ravishing, breathtaking. For a moment, Annie glanced around the room. Then she spotted Andy. Andy spotted Annie. They waved to each other. She's sitting down at the table. Bree, we did it. It's all coming true. Bree's hand was cupped over her mouth. She was speechless. Come on, let's go in and say hi. Nancy started tugging Bree by the arm. Bree looked uncertain. Ooh, I want to, but won't that give it away? We came with my mom to pick up JoJo and Freddie, remember? It would be rude to not say hi. You're right, Bree said. But don't let anything slip like before. At the Candy Cafe, in the party room, JoJo and Freddie and lots of other little kids were racing around tooting party horns. Nancy's mom was sharing a piece of cake with another mom. She saw Nancy and Bree and waved. At a table in the back, there they were, Annie and Andy, Andy and Annie. They each were holding a spoon. In between them was a banana split. Annie was laughing at something, Andy said. It was like a movie, only better. This was real life. Bree and Nancy went over and said hi at the same time. It came out too loud. Andy looked up, startled. Annie swiveled around and said, Oh, hi, Bree. Hi, Nancy. Andy was pointing at the banana split with his spoon. Want to pull over chairs and help us out? This thing is huge. That's very thoughtful, but we wouldn't dream of disturbing you, Nancy said. You sure? Andy asked. We're heading to an all-dessert party later. Gotta leave some room, right, Annie? Ooh la la, Annie and Andy were going to a party? Together? Tonight? Just then, Nancy caught her mom signaling to them. JoJo and Freddie were in their coats. Well, gotta go. See you. Bree grabbed Nancy. Wait a sec. Annie stood and, wrapping an arm around Nancy and Bree, steered them to the front of the Candy Cafe. Your secret admirer is my guitar teacher? I can't believe it, Nancy whispered. He's tall, dark, and handsome, just like he told you. And I know for a fact that Andy isn't too nice. I mean, he's nice, but not yucky nice, like your last boyfriend, Bree babbled excitedly. This is meant to be, Nancy went on. It's love eternal. You already look like you've known each other forever. Annie had a funny look on her face. That's because we have known each other forever. Bree and Nancy stopped in their tracks. What do you mean? They asked Annie. Andy and I have been buddies since 9th grade. Annie bit her lip. Then she went on. And look, you guys, I knew you were behind the whole secret admirer thing. You did? How? Bree asked. Nancy was too shocked to utter a word. The writing. Annie turned to Bree. I've watched you practice script a lot. Nancy felt like weeping. She could see Bree did too. So why did you play along? Bree asked. Nancy was wondering the same thing. Because it was so sweet. You want me to find eternal love. And Annie giggled. I was curious to see who you picked out. Now Nancy felt silly. Annie had been playing along, the way Andy played along with JoJo's Say Please game. To Annie, Nancy and Bree were just dumb little kids. Then a terrible thought struck Nancy. Does Andy know? She asked. If he did, she would die. She would perish. She would have to get another guitar teacher. And she would never play Wild Thing again, ever. Annie shook her head. He thinks I just happened to show up here. That was a relief, but Nancy was still confused. But Andy said you're going to a party together. Isn't that a date? Annie shook her head. Sorry, Andy and I are friends. It's strictly platonic. Then she hugged them both. You guys are the best. In the car on the way home, Nancy asked, Mom, what does platonic mean? Platonic? How can I describe it? Mom said. It means that Jojo, Freddie, that's enough with the horns. When Jojo and Freddie stopped tooting, Mom started over. It means that you like someone as a friend, but not in a romantic way. Nancy and Bree exchanged sad looks. That was what Nancy figured platonic meant. It was the first fancy word she didn't like. That's how it started with Dad and me, Mom went on. We were buddies. I helped him study. Remember? I told you that. Then one weekend we went to a party together and I don't know, I guess love was in the air that night. Oh, so you went from platonic to romantic? As Nancy took this in, she and Bree exchanged looks again. Nancy could read Bree's mind. Just like Nancy, she was thinking that maybe this would happen to Annie and Andy. Maybe it would happen this very night. After all, it was Valentine's Day, so love was definitely in the air. And that is the end of Nancy Clancy, Secret Admirer. I hope you enjoyed reading with me for Valentine's Day. Have a good night. Please remember to like and subscribe and join me for more stories. Good night.